It's time for the news.
Another UFO sighting has taken place.
The leather's made out of cardboard.
The number you have dialed is in an alternate dimension.
Welcome back to Weird Week, guys. My name is Jack DeMont. I am your host. Daniel Kim joining me today. How you doing, man?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I'm pretty burnt out from playing a lot of Diablo this weekend. Yeah, pretty zonked from the new release of the new game and stuff like that. But otherwise, yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it. You haven't had a chance to play any of that or anything?
Not at the moment, but would love to.
It's out on console.
I don't think console is the reason why I can't play it right now.
Ah, I see. All right, well, let's just move right into the news then. Starting off, it looks like we've got China has initiated the digging of a 10-kilometer deep hole in the Earth's crust as the country explores the interior of the planet. It looks like this is being done in an attempt to find more information and get just like all the data that they can possibly get on the Earth's crust and the history of our continents and things like that, and how they were formed and how the tectonic plates have been shifting and all that kind of stuff. So I find that pretty interesting.
Do you think they'll find anything interesting?
I don't know. 10 meters deep doesn't seem. It's definitely huge. Or 10,000. It's I say
10,000 meters
is 10 kilometers deep. So it's 10,000 meters. That's that's a lot. That's really deep. That's like, but I think it just comes down to like where they're drilling and if there's weird stuff going on underneath that one specific spot. I don't think like there's weird shit going on underneath the ground and like everywhere around the Earth. I think it's only in like specific areas that have like high magnetic fields and things like that where they can derive a lot of energy from resources in the ground.
They might be able to find something new element that we haven't discovered.
That would be cool. That would be
crab people.
Extremely necessary, probably. I would think like would you say crab people?
Yeah, crab people.
Crab people. Crab people.
Crab people.
I like South Park. South Park's good one. Wasn't the crab people like a boy band or something at first?
Yeah, they were was it Cartman's? No, it was In Sync.
I thought it was like a real band or something like In Sync or Backstreet Boys or something, and then they
I think Cartman came up with his own boy band, and then I forget the episode, but I know there's crab people.
The one where Cartman makes his own boy band is the Finger Bang episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna finger bang you into my life.
Finger bang. That was a good episode.
That was a good episode. I like that episode very much.
Yeah, it's one of the earlier seasons of South Park, which I will always defend as being the best seasons, like seasons 1 through I think 6 or whatever before they rebooted. Basically, when they stopped like killing off Kenny, things started going a little bit downhill, and then things really started going downhill once they introduced PC Principle. But some people really like PC Principle. Some people really like the new direction South Park has gone. I just really don't. Since like 2018 or something, they've really gone in a weird direction. Not even 2018, like 2015 or something. It's been anyways. So it looks like they're drilling really deep. They're trying to figure out the information on evolution of landscapes, climate change, and the distribution of life. And I think that life includes all forms of life, plant, animal, and human, and maybe extraterrestrial. pretty cool. I think it sounds like they're the first to be trying to dig this deep. That's, I think, what this whole thing is about and why it's like unique and different and why they're trying to get more information than they ever have before, is because I don't think they've ever been able to dig this deep. It's not saying that exactly in the article, but I want to assume that that's the only reason why it's being made a pretty big deal and why they think they could get this kind of information from it and things like that.
Mm-hmm. But do you ever think that the digging is for something else, or just masking or something? Like, hey, we want to find out about the Earth's core, but it's really more about something else. Because sometimes when governments do these things, I always think like, is that really the purpose of why they're doing it? War
Yeah,
on
no, I
terror,
mean,
for
that's a
example.
war on terror.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
did you really do that because of the war on terror?
sometimes things feel like they're a distraction or a cover up. And I mean, oftentimes things feel like a distraction or a cover up. This feels like it is genuine, at least in the sense that they just want to at least obtain more information. Um, if it's like they're low-key also trying to discover aliens or some crazy shit like that, then like that's not necessarily them lying. They're just saying they're looking for more information down there. They never mentioned things like extraterrestrials, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's like a lie, because they were saying, we're just trying to find more stuff and whatnot. So it's like, kind of doesn't, it's kind of a cover, it's kind of not a cover. Like they're kind of being honest. It's like, we're just digging a hole and seeing what we find, and it's like there's nothing really to cover at that point, unless like they already know that there's something down there. Then that's like a cover, and I don't know that they already know what's down there. I mean, and I don't know that I even am suspicious, of their motives.
Mm-hmm. I'm
I
just saying
I
it
don't know.
might be something that they're doing. You just our simple minds aren't able to like comprehend what can be done if you dig that deep. But
Yeah.
usually when a government comes in and says like, "Hey, I want to do these things," there's always, with me anyway, it's just kind of like a little skepticism involved, where I'm just kind
Uh-huh.
of like, "Oh, is that really for that purpose?"
Yeah.
That's why I ask.
I think there's also the level of just like, I mean, they're just trying to dig a really, really deep hole that has never been done before. Like will they even be successful? You know what I mean? Like, it's
Hmm.
almost like they're just trying to do something that we haven't done before. Like, I don't know that I can even try to like read too much between things when it's like, well, I mean, it's the first time that we're able to find out, or get that.
Hmm.
No one else has dug 10,000 feet deep, apparently. So 10,000 meters deep. I keep getting that wrong. But I don't know. What do you think, Daniel? You think there's stuff hiding down there? What do you think they could be
I don't think it's
covering
necessarily.
up by digging?
I'm always thinking like, if governments do this, always usually for some type of profits, either political or economic gains. And I'm just like, oh, there must be a reason for this.
Oh, well, yeah, I do think there's always something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
to be the
Unless it's like
first to do
China's like
this,
science division, like their version of NASA is kind of like doing it, then it's kind of like, okay, I kind of get it. But if it's the government trying to do it, then it's just like, oh, I don't know. This
right?
seems, yeah, I've been burned
Um,
before.
right. I don't know. It actually, I can't tell that it even says that it was like it's the government that's doing the digging. It just says
Hmm.
China.
Yeah. But usually these articles back up like who does it. Because I mean, it's not usually when NASA does something, it's not like, oh, the US wants to do it. It's like NASA wants to do it. That's why I ask.
Yeah, true. Okay, I feel that. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably, there's always like a reason for them to try to be the first ones to do it. It's probably to get this information before, it's not
Hmm.
just to get this information, but it's also a race to get this information and data before opposing world powers. So like, yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's always something in the back of their mind about trying to like compete and profit and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I do think there's also an element of like they just don't even know. Like they could end up just digging a really, really big hole and find out like very little. Who knows? I mean, I doubt that would be the case, but it could be. We don't know what's down there, to be honest. Like we have an idea. We believe we know what's down there, but we don't. Moving right along. Moving right along. Completely unrelated, it feels like, but it's more news for us to jump into. The CourtGPT is getting really popular. We've already spoken about it a couple times on the cast. It looks like a U.S. lawyer admits to using CourtGPT for case research. The case involved a man suing an airline over an alleged personal injury. His legal team submitted a brief that cited several previous court cases in an attempt to prove, using precedent, why the case should move forward. But the airline's lawyer later wrote to the judge to say they could not find several of the cases that were referenced in the brief. And that was done using the AI. He sorry, go ahead.
No, just I'm saying everybody's using ChatGPT nowadays, seemingly.
Right.
It's hard to determine who isn't and who is.
Yeah. I mean, and for what reasons? Like I'm finding out more and more every day, like the different applications ChatGPT can be used for. Like how many different ways can we use ChatGPT? Like, yes, it was fun when I was just asking it to give me a constitution for the North Pole in Santa's workshop, but it's like, what is this actually being used for? Because it feels like it's being used for like way bigger things than I can seem to understand right now.
Hey, ChatGPT, make a case for me to defend my client. That's probably it. That's probably what was his prompt.
So, well, problem.
If I was a good lawyer, what would I say?
Well, yeah, right. ChatGPT, if you could be a lawyer, if you could put your mind in the if you could put yourself in the shoes of a lawyer. No, but what I'm finding is that it's like, okay, so the issue is that the lawyer that is presenting the information is not the lawyer that put together the research filing, and the lawyer is a colleague of his in the same firm who did the research filing with ChatGPT. That lawyer now, pledges to never use it again to supplement his legal research in the future. It to me, I'm trying to filter out and find out where the real issue lies. I can't tell if it's just that it's just like an abuse of technology or something like that, or if like ChatGPT has too much potential to like have error or something. Like I can't tell where everybody's getting like really upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there is a good reason for people to not be stoked on the fact, but
Well,
like I can't find the exact reason.
Yeah, according to the article, he referenced cases that might not have existed. So it's just kind of like I think he was using references, and I think the ChatGPT might have made up some things from the article. So that's why I think that's where the issue lies. But yeah, I mean,
So it's very similar.
Yeah, so it's tough. Even this is kind of the case with like student papers. If like students are using ChatGPT to write their essays, the teacher hands them these assignments based on on trusting grounds that hey, you guys are do your own research and you're going to articulate what you found and write your own thesis paper. And it's mostly not to. I know a lot of times we letter grade these students, but it's also a it should also be a marker of where the student lies as far as like in the classroom. Am I good? Am I able to articulate my thoughts in a certain format? And that's where like the students are learning the lesson instead of just typing up on ChatGPT, and everybody gets stellar results. It's just kind of more so a measure. I think that's where this kind of, if there is a moral dilemma, I think the integrity of what people do is more in question at this point, more than like, we know that ChatGPT is a great tool to use, but I think the integrity that this is your own work, and like, let's say even if an artist used AI to make his own art, to make art, it's just, can we give him actual credit for it? Should we like exalt him for it?
Well, I
It's in
mean,
that weird gray area now.
I guess I feel like there's still a level of like we let people use calculators to do math, and we're not yelling at them for not doing it in their brain or doing it by themselves. We let people use Google to search for things on their own and plagiarize if they want. Like, but if a
I don't think
chat
we
bot
let them
does it,
plagiarize. I think they still have to refer or give
we don't
credit
let them
to.
plagiarize, but I'm
Yeah.
sure plenty of people get away with it. And it's like, okay, so because you have evidence that people use the chat GPT, that's what's wrong. Like it's just as much a tool as everything else is being used as a tool to abuse their people's leverage to try to actually like win cases or get better grades or whatever it be. I mean, it's very similar to that case that we were talking about last week or 2 weeks ago with the teacher that revoked people's grades, get flunked an entire college class of students because he typed into a chat GPT and said, is this are my students using chat GPT or whatever, and like it just lied and said like, yes, all these papers are cheaters or whatever. It's like, and some people had never even been on chat GPT. It's like, oh my god, yeah, no, we can't rely on it, that's for sure. And like, yes, so I can understand where the problem lies in like false information and things like that. I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, like tools are being created constantly, apps and things like that are being created constantly to like aid us in a lot of different things, and I only see AI like being more and more integrated into our system on a daily basis. So like this just feels like us like fighting AI, and like I know we need to like have like a really smart balance with AI and stuff like that, but it's just like, I don't know. I mean, it's just a little confusing because it's like everybody wants to use AI. AI is becoming way more popular all of a sudden, and but then like you have these kinds of instances, and it's the good, the bad that comes with the good, and we are all so skeptical of AI and wondering whether or not that bad will just like kind of progressively get worse or not. It's curious. It's hard to wrap your mind around as like a regular, 90s human. As a human who grew up in the 80s and 90s, it's hard to wrap your mind around the AI shit that's going on nowadays. And for people, older than us as well. I think younger generations are probably starting to really get it, and they're probably going to be fine. Anyways, it's enough AI talk.
Allen Iverson.
But that was an airline case that we were covering. He was defending someone that got injured at an airline. We have a few more airline stories coming, and that'll wrap us up today. Canada issues grim U.S. travel advice amid mass shootings. Quote unquote, risk of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't think I really need to look into it much more to really know what's going on here. It sounds like in preparation for people to be able to travel to the U.S., most countries, when you're traveling out to another country, they give you some sort of like brochure and informational pamphlet on the country that you're going to, how you should behave, and what things differ from your country as opposed to theirs. Of course, people are starting to put on the America brochure. You might just bump into some guy with an assault rifle. Like, wrong place, wrong time. You just decided to go to the mall on the wrong day. Good job, America. We're doing real good stuff around here. Yeah, number one. Yeah, America's number one. We are definitely the best country in the world because we have guns.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad that they had to put that in their travel warnings, because I know, like, a lot of times if you go to more like politically unstable countries, they like the U.S. travel advisory kind of is just like, hey, stay away. Like, they just give you a warning, like, we recommend you not go to this country based on certain
And
issues
now
that are
we're
going
getting
on.
put into that.
Yeah, and it's kind of like now the shoe is kind of on the other foot, where it's just like now countries are warning
Not
of
to
the
come to us.
US's. Yeah, I mean, but I guess, like, anywhere you go, you can. I mean, anything could happen to you. I mean, just like it's so hard to determine, like, those time. But if this is like a mass shooting issue that we're talking about, I think this is, yeah. I mean, wish we would do something about it.
Well, I mean,
Although
it's like,
a lot of the last minute mass shootings, I would have to admit that it seemed like it just like this happened. Next day, what else is new? I remember there was a time when mass shootings, this coverage went on for like weeks almost, and now it seems like it's just like, okay, another one.
well, that's because part of what was going on in the beginning of those mass shootings and when they were getting so much coverage is like a bunch of people were retaliating, being like, this is what they want. They want coverage. This is what they want. They want attention. Stop giving them attention. Just arrest the fool for being awful and send his ass to jail, but don't give him attention. He doesn't deserve attention because that's all he wants. And I think that's part of what's going into it. I think it's also that there's a lot of them happening now, and compared to what they were, it's like literally one a day, like at least minimum. I don't know what the definition of a mass shooting is, but I'm pretty sure the last time I looked up saw something like that, they were saying that America's got like a mass shooting a day, and it's like, with that kind of risk, yeah, you have to kind of warn people about the country they're going to. And I find it kind of crazy that what seemed to have been like initially like a joke and a meme has become like officially like terrifying for other opposing countries' governments. Well, not opposing, but other countries' governments. Like, yeah.
It's an uncomfortable feeling to be in, because I remember when I went to go watch the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, the movie theaters had armed guards patrolling, thinking that this might trigger a mass shooting or some type of violent act, and they had to get armed security guards, and that was an uneasy feeling. And this is not, for me anyway, it's not going to be a gun issue, whether you should have a gun or not. I'm not going to get into that because I feel like there's just way too much talk like that. But I am the firm believer that mass shootings, to be honest, it's stemming from something else, and I just wish we would figure out the proper ways to try to be like, if you're for guns, I'm not, or vice versa. We don't want this to happen. Let's do something about it. Then this suddenly becomes like a political issue, and just like, I don't know why it came to that. None of us want mass shootings, except for, I guess, the shooter that's performing these horrible acts. But I don't know. I just feel like we're always arguing about something instead of just looking at the actual issue.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. We need to be able to kind of like come together, and no matter what people's viewpoints are on whether or not we should have guns, we need to start analyzing just like what is happening because of them, and be more realistic about it, and just like make compromises for one another. I get that. I totally understand where you're coming from in that. Yeah, the Joker thing, I can totally understand also them wanting to like arm up, because I think there was the one shooting that happened at Dark Knight Rises, so there's already a correlation with Batman movie and shooting, and then the Joker dives so much more into like the cerebral mental snap that like psychopaths go through when they become like
Yeah.
extraordinarily violent, you know?
Yeah.
So I can understand why, but you know, it's almost also like promoting it. It's also almost like
Hmm.
giving the people what they want, you know? Let's
Yeah.
move on. Let's move on. It's a shame. More airline news. This airline is weighing passengers before they board international flights. That's kind of fucked up. That's kind of fucked up.
I don't know, because I mean, if you ever had the middle seat and there's two gigantic people, you're sitting in between them. No fat shaming here. It's just I just wish that they made bigger seats where like it's not as they're spilling into your seat, you know. But I'm not sure it's for that. They said they're trying to gather real world information. I don't know what they're trying to collect from that. I think that's just a little front for something else that they're trying to do. I mean, because yeah, they do weigh your luggage before you fly. So I guess they're trying to
Well,
have
yeah,
a way where like you can be like I mean, you are like thousands of feet in the air. So like if there's like a wrong calculation in the weight and I guess
yeah,
like the winds, I don't know, to be honest. I always wanted to be a pilot. I just never realized like what it took to be a pilot or what happens in the sky. But I'm pretty sure
mhm.
there are different factors where weight distribution and all that is a factor, you know. So I guessing I mean, I wish they would explain it that way instead of saying it's being. I feel like most people would be like, "Oh, we're weighing you for this reason," and they're just upfront about it and to be like, "This is the reason why." I think most people will get it. I mean, granted, there might be a few people that be like, "Hey, that's fucked up," but at the end of the day, I think that's where they're going with it. I don't know what information you're going to gather, especially if the passengers this information is going to be collected again anonymously, and if I don't know what data you can possibly come what data when you collect this data, I guess I'm trying to say is what you can come up with out of that data. Some ex passengers are trying to figure out the average weight so you can figure out what type of plane you need for certain flights. That might be the thing, but I don't know. They haven't explained it that well, other than the fact that there's weighing customers, which is the fucked up part. The
Right,
us knowing that they're gonna weigh us, but not knowing why they're weighing us.
right. Yeah, it's hard because there's not much information on it. You want to assume it's like it's either the plane balancing thing, or that it's about passengers and stuff like that. But and who they're like sitting near and whatnot. But it sounds like it. Yeah, like all they're saying is that it's a process of a process in part of a survey to gather real world information. They just want to gather data. Um, I don't. I agree with you in the sense that it's just like I don't really know why they're doing it, and it's a little frustrating to like to know that. This is an airport in New Zealand
Hmm.
that might also play into it. Here is like countries do different things differently all around the world, so there's a chance that you know New
Yeah, there are
Zealand's
some
got
countries out there that will pretty much shame you for a certain weight. I think Japan promoted something like if you weigh over a certain amount, they might deny you health coverage in general, saying that
right.
you have an unhealthy lifestyle.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. So a lot of countries are that more less forgiving when they're talking about weight.
Yeah. The there isn't there a whole like a group of people like that live on New Zealand on the islands of New Zealand, like the Kiwi that are they like Samoan or what or something? Like aren't they larger people? Some of them,
Yeah,
just
Samoans
even
are
just buffness and stuff.
pretty
Like,
big. Yeah, they're
the,
pretty. Yeah,
so
I
maybe
think.
New Zealand's just trying to balance their planes.
Yeah, I think I was assaulted by a gigantic Samoan person.
Oh,
He happened to be 6.
Giant Samoan came at me. He was 6. He was just coming in for a hug, but I got taken down. I was like grappled.
Yeah. Don't fuck with Samoan people. They will rip you in half.
But they're also like they're also some of the like coolest people I've ever met.
Yeah, they're
too.
also they're probably the coolest people. But
Yeah, they're like really nice, really chill a lot of the time. It's just like
gentle giants.
don't get on their bad side.
Yeah.
And I can understand that. Don't get on anybody's bad side at the end of the day. All right, guys. It's, been another weird ass week, and we're doing it well every week. You know that song, DK? Doing it well.
By LL Cool J?
Yeah, you know that song. LL Cool J. You know the actor from Anaconda? Or was it Deep Blue? I can't remember. Yeah, LL Cool J was an actor for a few movies.
He was in a few movies that
they were almost all flops. I'm pretty.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was Anaconda or like
Anaconda
Deep
was Ice
Blue
Cube
or what.
and Jennifer Lopez.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I know LL Cool J was in one of those two. I think he must have been in something called like Deep Blue or something like that. He was in like a shark or Anaconda or like there's a team of people running away from a giant beast of some sort.
Sharknado?
No, it wasn't Sharknado. Now I'm gonna have to look up LL Cool J
shark movie. Also, Will Smith was in a shark movie as well. I think he was a shark in a movie.
Why am I not? How many movies has he been in? Deep Blue Sea.
Is that the one there that gave like sharks like superhuman intelligence or super intelligence or something like that?
I don't know. I know there was a giant shark and they basically were like monitoring it or they housed it or something. Anyways, we gotta get out of here, man.
Enough shark talk.
Go check out LL Cool J and Deep Blue Sea. He's doing it well. Doing it well. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Peace.